But I want to kind of get to the other part of this Tom Brady and the New England Patriots no longer being together. And that is the Brady versus Belichick debate. I was talking with a friend on Saturday before he even left, before it was possible. And the thought and the conversation was, if he leaves, who is it? Is it Brady or Belichick? Who gets the more credit? And they're arguing why it was Tom Brady gets the more credit because he's on the field. He's the one actually, controlling the offense and playing, and his high level of play is the reason why the Patriots, that deserves more success for their 6 Super Bowls than the culture that Bill Belichick has established and the coaching and scouting that he has, again, had for 2 decades. But I'm not trying to be a cop-out here, but I'm also trying to keep it real. Like, this is not a hot take show. This is not a show where I'll take a random side that is ludicrous, that I don't believe, just to make an argument, to scream about, to yell about, to get you, the listener, frustrated and try to fire back because you think I'm totally wrong. I try to keep it real. I try to keep it, at least what I think, as much as possible. So I'm not going to take a side just in order to just get some attention, to get you riled up or get you angry. So when I'm talking about the Brady versus Belichick debate, who gets more success, to me, there's no debate. There should be no debate at all. It's both, and it's not one without the other. You can't take just Tom Brady for 2 decades of the Patriots and expect 6 Super Bowl titles. You can't take just Bill Belichick, put him on the Patriots for 2 decades without Tom Brady, and expect the same success that they've had. They can't have the success they had without the other. And you know what I compared it to? 2 comparisons I thought that if you make this argument and you see at least what I'm saying, I think you would agree. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are the equivalent of peanut butter and jelly. Great sandwich. Selfishly and biasedly, I eat PB&Js every day. The best sandwich you could ever make. The best sandwich that is out there. Peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter, jelly, you put it together, it is a tremendous combo. They're both nice on the side. I have peanut butter sandwiches all the time. It's nice. It's a nice snack. It's nice filling. I never had just a jelly sandwich, to be honest, but you could put jelly on waffles or toast and it gets the job done. It's nothing, nothing crazy, nothing out of this world, nothing, to make your taste buds jump all over the place. But peanut butter and jelly, you put those 2 together. It's a great combination, never gets old. Same thing with another peanut butter combo, peanut butter and chocolate. Same thing. Peanut butter on its own is great. Chocolate on its own is great. People love one, but you put the 2 together, the combo is amazing. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, my favorite candy. They are so good. They crushed the combination. And there's ice creams, other candies where you have peanut butter and chocolate mixed together. No one argues, and no one tries to argue an argument. Peanut butter and jelly, it's the peanut butter. The jelly is nice, but if you just did just peanut butter on its own, it would have the same taste and have the same, your taste buds would feel the same eating it than you would if it's a peanut butter and jelly. Same thing with peanut butter and chocolate. No one tries to make the argument of a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. What is more important? What tastes better? What is the reason for their success? So why are we doing it, in this case, with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick? They both bring their own capabilities and positives to the team and to the culture, but you can't have one without the other. Bill gets a lot of credit for setting the culture, and Tom gets a lot of credit for basically setting the culture within the players. Right? Because Bill Belichick has his own way of going about the team, and that is the team. You are just a number on the team. If you physically aren't able to help, you're cut. Doesn't matter the relationship you have. Doesn't matter what you've done in the past to help us out. If we don't think you can succeed on this year's current team, you're out. And Tom Brady's been really the poster boy for that because for 2 decades, no one is arguing with the success Tom Brady's had. I mean, people don't call him the GOAT for a reason. So now, at least when you have Bill Belichick openly criticizing Tom Brady, making him just another guy, really not setting any exceptions, you give Tom Brady a lot of credit for acknowledging that, going with it, and that helps set the tone and why really the Patriot way has become what it is. So you give him a lot of credit for at least being the guy, kind of putting his ego to the side and letting him get yelled at, letting him basically, again, be treated just like one of the guys. And including in that is Tom Brady's willingness to take team-friendly deals to help put money in other places in the team, right? He's never been the highest-paid quarterback, rarely even been in the top 10, but no one's going to argue. He probably deserves top 5, top 3 money for a large part of his career. But he's never done it because he always wants the team. He always put the team first. And if I could take less, so that means other money, we can get better players to go around me, I'm all in. So they both deserve credit for that. But you already see other coaches and other players try to implement that success or try to implement that strategy outside of New England. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because if there's not a buy-in the same way that you have in New England, it deteriorates. And this is a great example, Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien was the offensive coordinator for a long time under Bill Belichick and worked a lot with Tom Brady. He goes to Penn State, then goes to the Texans. He tries to bring that Patriot way with him to Houston. And now, at least in the last year or so, he's become both the general manager and the head coach, similar to what Bill Belichick is in New England. And that has gone from him dealing to Jadeveon Clowney, trading him last year. This year, trading DeAndre Hopkins. And really, you have a lot of players starting to come out. And there's even reports that players who either played in Houston are warning other free agents, don't come here. So you see, if there's not a buy-in the same way between the head coach and the most important players on the team, it doesn't work. So that's why you have to give both credit. Bill Belichick implemented it. Tom Brady carried it out for himself and the players, and he set the example. And not to mention, too, it's easy to have, I shouldn't say easy, but it's possible to have success when you have one or the other, a great head coach or a great quarterback, right? There's been tons of great quarterbacks and tons of great head coaches that have won in spite of quarterback play or vice versa. Look at Peyton Manning. Never saying that Peyton Manning and him having he was all by himself or he had bad coaches. Tony Dungy was a great coach. Jim Caldwell was a great coach. Gary Kubiak was a great coach. But you see, when you don't have that kind of synergy or you don't have an elite head coach and elite quarterback working together, most of Peyton's time in Indy and most of Peyton's time, at least up until that last year in Denver, was led by him. He was the guy. He was the one operating the entire team, and basically the team had success as far as he went. Peyton had a bad game. Fortunately, it happened more times than not in the playoffs. The defense was never really there to kind of pick him up, and that was that. The Colts, more times than not, would lose. And again, that's why Peyton Manning, kind of his look at it in history, great regular season quarterback, probably the greatest regular season quarterback ever seen. The playoff struggles kind of come to the forefront more times than not. Aaron Rodgers. You have Aaron Rodgers talked about as arguably the most talented quarterback in history. Just pure arm talent, pure footwork, throwing on the run. Like you build a body of a quarterback skill set wise in a lab. Aaron Rodgers is probably the quarterback that you're going to build most towards. But he has one Super Bowl and one Super Bowl appearance. And I'm not saying Mike McCarthy is a bad coach at all, but you saw Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers ran their course. The message was getting stale. Ideas were getting stale. Nothing really changed, and that relationship deteriorated. Especially, too, Aaron Rodgers went to the Super Bowl and won pretty early in his career. And again, not having gotten back, you see how hard it is. Despite having a great quarterback, a top 3 quarterback for most of his career, they can't get back. And even Drew Brees, another guy similar to Peyton Manning, a great regular season quarterback. And this is a guy who has a great head coach for most of his career in Sean Payton. You have the combo right there. They've had some bad playoff losses, and Drew Brees has struggled sometimes in the playoffs, especially recently in these last few years. So it's so hard. And I hope people kind of, and maybe it takes Tom Brady leaving to kind of finally get us over this Patriot hatred, because they are probably, I'm trying to think, at least right now, Yankees are hated. They haven't won in a while. The Patriots might be the most hated franchise in sports by all sports fans, right? Because they've had the most success, continued success of any team in 2 decades. The Warriors were getting up there because they were winning and they were cocky and they were winning easily. But that dynasty, again, has obviously dissipated this last year with Kevin Durant leaving. But they were not too hated because Steph Curry's likable. Kevin Durant was more vilified, but he's not exactly an unlikable kind of guy. But, you had the Warriors for a brief minute there, pretty unlikable. The Yankees, obviously, just, the evil empire, if you want to say, but they haven't won in 10 years. So it's a little different. When you have the Patriots constantly having success, having Bill Belichick always push the line of what is acceptable, whether it's scouting, whether it's getting players, or just getting any info we can. Patriots are the most hated team in all of sports. And obviously that's going to now change a little bit with Tom Brady leaving, but I hope people realize at least it is so hard to have success and continued sustained success. And they didn't win 6 Super Bowls on accident. And I just listed some great Hall of Fame. All 3 of these guys, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, are all going to Hall of Fame one day. Peyton Manning is 2, might have been to 4, but you have Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, each with 1 Super Bowl and each with 1 Super Bowl appearance. And it's not their fault. But when you have an elite head coach, an elite quarterback, that's a combo it takes to have sustained success. Easy for me to say. So you can't have one without the other. Because right now in these 3 scenarios I laid, you had one without the other. You had all-time great quarterbacks without all-time great head coaches. And that's not fair maybe to Sean Payton to say, because I think he's up there, one of the best coaches. And same with Tony Dungy, but Tony Dungy's run with Peyton Manning wasn't as long as it is, obviously, with Belichick and Brady. But you need both to have a chance. And this is why you look at two teams that I have currently in the NFL that possibly, and again, it's not saying they could come anywhere near the success that Brady and Belichick had, but it could be in the same combos. You can't have one without the other. And that's Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. I love Patrick Mahomes, and obviously he has taken the league by storm. In his 2 full years as a starter, he's won the MVP, and he's won the Super Bowl MVP with a Super Bowl title for the first time in 50 years for the Chiefs. So he's come in already and elevated the Chiefs to a level they've never seen before. And even you look at the Ravens with John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. John Harbaugh's a great coach, an absolute great coach. And now you see what he's been doing with Lamar Jackson. You draft him late in the first round. After his first year, you remake the entire offense to support Lamar Jackson, cater his skills, and put him in the best position to succeed. Instead of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, John Harbaugh saw Lamar Jackson, saw his skill sets throughout the round hole, got a square peg. Or a square hole, I should say. So now the square peg can fit into the square hole. That's what you need. You need elite head coaching at the quarterback position and at the head coaching position if you want to have sustained success. So it's not just one or the other. So there are plenty of examples with a great head coach, and you've seen some decent quarterbacks win the Super Bowl. John Harbaugh, won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco. He was white hot, don't get me wrong, but Joe Flacco is an average at best quarterback. It can be done. And again, you see other examples of great quarterbacks without that elite head coach in place to lead them, and they've gotten some success, don't get me wrong, but nowhere near the level of success that the New England Patriots these last 2 decades under Tom Brady and Bill Belichick had. So that's why there's no debate. It's both. Without one or the other, nothing like we've seen the last 2 decades is anywhere close to being accomplished. If it's just Bill Belichick or it's just Tom Brady. I'll get your thoughts on this. Do you have an answer? Do you value Tom Brady's play on the field? He's the guy who's actually on the field making the plays in order to win. Or do you credit more Bill Belichick for, again, devising this Patriot way, if you will, kind of doing things his own way, scheming a great defense, helping Tom Brady kind of fit and get in line. And that's why, again, the Patriots have had more success because of Bill Belichick. I think it's neither, because you can't have one without the other.